Star Wars Episode 9 is all set to bring a return of 3 legacy characters, that of course being Lando, Luke, and Leia, as well as both sequel and new characters in the mix. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as we go through principal photography, we have been learning a whole lot more about this film. When it comes to Episode 9, both JJ and Chris Terrio, they are now on both the second and third acts of this movie. As we get closer to February of 2019, we only get closer to the end of filming for Episode 9, which is when they will begin post-production, which is when they add in the music, the special effects, and kind of doing all the different color correction techniques. It's a very interesting process. So looking at Episode 9, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art, and storyboard descriptions, etc. Now, one of which has all to do with a set design that could very well tell us as to what's going to happen with Chewbacca, Lando, Kylo Ren, and others. So specifically, a sequence will be shot at Pinewood that involves both Eunice Watamo and Billy Dee Williams. By the way, Eunice is the guy who portrays the character of Chewbacca. The sequence is said to involve the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon in front of a giant green screen for a space battle sequence against the First Order. It is said to be for the third act of the film, which would be around the last 45 minutes of the movie. The sequence is to be shot in the beginning of December, while also adding Adam Driver to a set piece of a cockpit that resembles the cockpit of his TIE silencer. Aside from this, there is talk that there are 2 set pieces that will be filmed on different days, but used for the same scene. Kylo could be fighting the Millennium Falcon in Episode 9 against Chewbacca and Lando Calrissian. Another sequence to be shot a week after this is one at Cardington. Includes a major battle on a rocky world with waterfalls that may or may not be Pilio from Battlefront 2. Extras will be dressed as Resistance fighters and stormtroopers. So I would definitely have to say that the first sequence is what really interests me the most, is how there is going to be this space battle sequence filmed with both Eunice Watamo and Billy Dee Williams on board of the Millennium Falcon. What's really intriguing, though, is that Adam Driver will also be seated in a cockpit set piece that resembles his TIE silencer, similar to the one that we saw in The Last Jedi in the behind-the-scenes reel. So, with that being said, there is talk that these two will actually go up against each other, both Chewbacca and Lando, against Kylo Ren's TIE silencer. Now, that is something that would be amazing to see on screen. So, we do know that Kylo Ren does have a history with the Falcon. I don't know if you guys saw that deleted scene in The Force Awakens, but Kylo Ren does reminisce with the past when he goes inside of the cockpit. He's looking at all the controls and all the buttons, and he's kind of just getting these flashbacks in his head. That's when he turns his head and says Han Solo. He feels his presence on Starkiller Base, and leaves the Falcon there crash-landed. So, with that being said, for him to go up against the Falcon, and by the way, Kylo Ren's TIE silencer is actually inspired by the Falcon, by the creators of this sequel trilogy. They kind of took the Falcon and created a dark side version of that. It's why if you look at the back of the silencer, it really does look like a dark side version of the Falcon. It's got like a red afterburner, it's got like the black armor to it, it's wide like the Falcon. It just has a very interesting design. So Kylo Ren going up against both Chewbacca and Lando Calrissian, since both of these scenes will be shot, yes, on different days, but will be used for the same exact sequence and work in conjunction with each other. That to me sounds like a lot of this is really going to work between both Kylo Ren, Chewbacca, and of course Lando Calrissian. As far as this major battle sequence to come for Episode 9, involving the extras dressed as Resistance fighters and stormtroopers, with the waterfalls in the background that they will be using as a actual set piece, I think that this could absolutely be the planet Pilio. I don't know if you guys saw the cutscenes from Battlefront 2, but it definitely sounds just like that. And this would also line directly up with the Emperor's Vault sequences that we have been going over. Some of the concept art descriptions went over how the Emperor's Vaults will play a role in Episode 9's plot in order to recover some Sith and Jedi lore for our main heroes and villains such as Kylo Ren and Rey. With that being said though, guys, I gotta say, I'm very much excited to see exactly what Lando Calrissian will actually be able to do in this movie. We do know that Billy Dee went through some training in order to get in shape. He's on a diet, he's looking great, and he is set to do an action scene or two in this movie. Nothing too crazy, but I think that we can expect to at least see him walking around with an actual blaster, because we actually heard about that a couple of months ago, that Billy Dee would be doing an action scene to a certain extent in Episode 9. Nothing crazy like, you know, Poe Dameron running around on Jakku or anything, but I think it's going to be something similar in a sense to what Han Solo did on Starkiller Base, picking off those stormtroopers one by one. So with that being all done and said, guys, I gotta say, Episode 9 really seems like it's trying to mix certain elements with heroes and villains and the legacy characters. And that's what I really love about this film, is that J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, they're really trying to do different things that you wouldn't expect to see on the big screen. And I gotta say, that is one thing that I think fans wouldn't necessarily expect. Kylo Ren in his TIE silencer going up against the Millennium Falcon with Chewbacca and Lando on board, that to me sounds crazy, because the fact that they are shooting those two scenes, you know, just days apart, but will be used for the same exact sequence, this is very much, you know, possible of what's going to happen. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to morning.